How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video. And today we're going to be looking at the best captaincy choices. As you can see over my shoulder here for Game Week 5, we're going to be looking at the 5 best captains that I think you guys should be looking at for this game week. Typically, I pick 4 that I think are somewhat obvious, and then 1 I try to go for a little bit more of a differential in terms of one that could be out there. Maybe someone's coming back from injury, maybe someone might be hitting form potentially in this game. You know, all sorts of factors go into that last decision, which is why it's a nice one to watch all the way to the end of the video. And if you are enjoying the videos, make sure to leave a like on it. Make sure to smash that subscribe button if you are new. It greatly helps out the channel. I want to thank all of you, as well as we are knocking over 1,000 subscribers quite easily. We've become affiliate on Twitch, so thank you all for the support, and it will continue as we continue to put out more and more FPL content. Also, make sure to give us a follow, as mentioned, on Twitter and Twitch. Twitter, we post the little bulletins of what videos come out each week, as well as what streams will be going live and at what times. And for those streams, we do a game week previews on Mondays at 7 p.m. EDT. And typically our deadline streams are 1 hour before the deadline. So for Game Week 5, it'll be at 5 a.m. EDT this week. However, for the next 2 weeks, they have games scheduled on the Fridays. So I'll be doing the deadline stream at 7 p.m. EDT on the Thursday evening. So not exactly a deadline stream, but it'll be close enough to it, because you can set your team when you go to sleep, wake up, and if you go to work the next day, then you don't have to worry about your team. You can have all your thoughts out for that deadline, as I cannot do them throughout the middle of the day. But without further ado, let's get into our captaincy options for Game Week 5. So the first captain we have on our list here is Kevin De Bruyne. He has a home fixture with an FDR rating of 3 versus Arsenal in Game Week 5. He currently sits at 11.6 million, having gone up in price twice and then dropped back down. He has 17 points, 1 goal, 1 assist, and is just under 41% owned. Last week he didn't have that good of a performance, only 2 points, and City were kind of relying on him and his invention to kind of create something. Basically what Sterling did for their first goal. But at home, Kevin De Bruyne definitely is a lot better of a captaincy option. And I think if they get back Jesus or Aguero, who have been rumored to potentially be coming back, Aguero's been back in training before the Leeds game, so potentially that could help bolster the squad. Whether Jesus comes back a week early, he is scheduled to come back for Game Week 6, which will be in the fixture after Arsenal. That is yet to be determined. However, I think City looked a lot better with Mahrez as the false 9 rather than Sterling, because Sterling was able to create a little bit more for himself. I liked Foden in that midfield 3, which they went for. He was playing the David Silva role, as it were, and I think that helps out De Bruyne quite a lot. It allows Foden to do some defensive work as well. De Bruyne gets forward as well as Foden, so they kind of interchange there. I would like to see Foden potentially in the false 9 role, which makes it even more explosive for the likes of Mahrez and Sterling out on the wings. And if they go with Fernandinho and Gundogan, or Rodri and Gundogan, because Gundogan should be back for this game, then you can have De Bruyne push further forward, and that will mean more attacking returns for those that choose to captain him. And I think historically Arsenal at home has been a very good fixture for Man City and De Bruyne himself, so I think he's probably going to be the front runner along with Raheem Sterling for the captaincy option in Game Week 5. The second captaincy option that we have on our list here is Bruno Fernandes. He has a FDR rating of 3, Game Week 5 fixture versus Newcastle away. He has 20 points this season, 2 goals, both of them being penalties, 1 assist, and a just over 20% ownership. He did score 6 points after, being preemptively subbed, as it were, at halftime. Apparently a bust up in the dressing room, and he currently sits at 10.5 million. Now, a lot of people are overlooking Fernandes mainly because United are terrible. United have been bad for the first 3 games, and he still scored 2 goals and got an assist in those games. And he is on penalties and is very good at them. Whether he does the little hop, whether he just blasts it in the back of the net, Fernandes is always going to be in and around the action. I can't see him getting dropped, whether he had a bust up in the changing room or not. I think he definitely had the right to. Maguire was awful. Bailly was awful. Shaw was out of position all the time. It wasn't great. And neither was Wan-Bissaka. Pogba, who was the only midfielder out of him, Matic, and Fernandes that started the game, was left on in the second half. And he was probably the worst out of the 3, which makes no sense to me. If Oli does go with a back five, this will help Fernandes push forward more, especially if he plays, Fernandes and Van der Beek. Maybe Fernandes plays a little bit deeper. We'll have to still see on that. We haven't yet seen Van der Beek start from the beginning and how he plays when Fernandes is in the team. That's something we have to still see. Newcastle away, maybe some time for experimentation because United have a very tough run of fixtures ahead of them after that. They have PSG in the Champions League in midweek. Then they play Chelsea. Then Leipzig in the Champions League midweek. Then they play Arsenal. And then I believe there's another Champions League game away to the Turkish team that's in their group. And then they have to play Everton as well. So a very bad run of fixtures. But I definitely think for this game week as a one-off, I like Fernandes potentially getting another penalty and potentially being involved, assuming he starts from the beginning, which he should because he's arguably United's best player and arguably a real-life captain for United, or should be at least based on just player ability. So I think Fernandes is a good shout for the captaincy this week, or potentially Rashford as well could be another good captaincy shout, assuming they don't go down to 10 men like they did versus Spurs. They should be good options for game week 5. The next player we have on our list is one of the very few players that actually has an FDR rating of 2 for their fixture this week, and that is Jamie Vardy. He has a home fixture to Aston Villa this week. He currently sits at 10.1 million. He's got 34 points, scored 5 goals this season. 4, I believe, are from the penalty spot. He has no assists, but he is just shy of 26% owned and had a blank last week in Game Week 4, only scoring 2 points. But Vardy has shown that he can score against anyone. It doesn't matter if he's having a terrible game. He could have 1 touch in the game. It's going to go in the back of the net in most cases. He's been on fire in terms of just like putting away the chances that he is been given. He is on penalties, so he will definitely score those when he has the chance to. Liverpool could have potentially been awarded one when McGinn looked to have put a significant amount of contact on Salah in the box in their 7-2 win over Liverpool. And Vardy is the master of that, cutting in around defender and then creating the contact. Vardy is very good at drawing fouls and drawing them inside the box and then putting those penalties away. And I think that you can never rule Vardy out. He's not one of these players that's just going to go missing in games. He is always a threat until the whistle is blown for the end of the game. And with Aston Villa potentially having a potential, upturn in form, it could be a bit trickier, but it could mean that they might be a little bit more open at the back, which favors Jamie Vardy. We'll have to see kind of how Brendan Rodgers plays it. He kind of played a bit more defensive versus Man City, and they scored 5. Played a bit more offensive versus West Ham, and they conceded 3 by scoring none. So we'll have to see kind of how he plays it, but I think that Vardy could definitely be a good shout for the captaincy in Game Week 5. Our penultimate captain for Game Week 5 is Sadio Mane. I've chosen him over Salah this week in their FDR rating of 3 game week fixture for Game Week 5 versus Everton away. He currently sits at 11.9 million. He's got 25 points this season, 3 goals, no assists, just over 6% owned, and he didn't play in Game Week 4 as he had to quarantine. Now, he has, at the time of recording, not done his full 10 days as far as I know. However, based on my calculation, he should have the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before his game on Saturday of Game Week 5 that he will have to get back into training. Now, whether the virus has hit him a bit more than it would other players, we're not too sure. But I think if he's fit, he's definitely better in away fixtures than Salah is. Now, we've seen that Salah in away fixtures when Mane doesn't play, scores goals. Same for Mane when Salah doesn't play. But with both of them in the team, I favor Mane in this fixture if it's going to be a bit more open. I think that Mane is going to be, raring to come back, having seen, Salah, go up in goals, getting an extra 2 while he was out in quarantine, and I think Mane is going to want to rectify that. And in away fixtures, Mane does do well. I can definitely see a lot of people captaining Salah this week potentially. Everton and Liverpool both don't have very good goalkeepers at the moment. Pickford has made a few mistakes and is their number 1 goalkeeper. Adrian has made his fair share of mistakes, and Alisson looks like he could be out for a month or so, which means Liverpool defense could be a lot weaker. But I think that Mane is always a threat in away fixtures, which favors him and your Everton assets as well. But I think that Mane is a great shout for the captaincy this week. Yes, he's not on penalties, which they could potentially pick up 1 or 2 versus Everton, but I think from open play, I would give the armband to Mane in Game Week 5. And our last differential pick for the captaincy for this game week is Christian Pulisic. Now, he has a FDR rating of 3 versus Southampton at home in his game week 5 fixture. He currently sits at 8.3 million, having dropped in price twice from his original 8.5 million price tag in the midfield slot. He only has 1 point as he made a substitute appearance in their game week 4 fixture, and he's just around 3% ownership at the time of recording. Now, I think that Christian Pulisic, as shown for Chelsea last season, was a very, very dangerous player. He is their talisman. He is one of the very few players in the Chelsea team that can actually drive with the ball, given tight quarters or in open space. He's very good in both. He tends to draw a lot of fouls. He's very good at drawing penalties as well, which will favor the likes of Jorginho or whoever else could be on the pitch at the time taking the penalties. And I think that him coming in at 8.3 just seems so cheap. It just seems so inexpensive for a midfielder that could produce so much. And I think that with him in the team, with their normal front six, which ideally would be Pulisic out on the left, Ziyech out on the right, Havertz through the middle, Werner up top in the number 9, and then Kovacic and Conte as their kind of front six. You have Kovacic, who can drive with the ball and make the deep lying passes, with Conte kind of screening the back four. You have Ziyech with the deep lying playmaking ability, Havertz kind of pulling the strings, and then Pulisic kind of darting in towards the box and almost becoming another Sterling type player, with Werner getting in there as well. And if Pulisic gets taken down for a penalty, you can expect Jorginho for the most part to put the penalties away. I think he's scored I think it's 21 out of his 23 penalties that he's taken for Chelsea, so a pretty good record. I don't expect to see him missing anytime soon. But if you have Pulisic and you're getting him on your wild card, I definitely think he could be an outside chance for the captaincy. Yes, Southampton have kept 2 clean sheets in the last 2. However, Burnley could have potentially scored against them, and I think they were potentially quite fortunate not to concede versus West Brom as well. So I think Pulisic, if he's back fit and ready to go, which I believe he is, and I think Ziyech is not too far off, we could definitely see the best of the Chelsea team versus Southampton. I think Pulisic would be a great option for the captaincy this week. And that's going to do it for the Game Week 5 edition of the best captaincy picks in FPL. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you're enjoying it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We appreciate all 1,000 plus of you that have done so already. But if you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's free for you to do, and it helps out the channel greatly. And at the end of the day, that means it's going to help you guys out as well. Also, make sure to turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available here on YouTube. Also, leave a comment down below as to potential captaincies that I may have missed out. I like the likes of Brighton's fixture versus Crystal Palace. I think Mopé could be a very interesting differential captain. Even Mitrovic versus Sheffield United, who look very leaky at the back, could potentially be an outside shout as well. There are a bit of, some crazy ones that I'm seeing running around there. And we didn't even talk about Spurs, who have a very good fixture versus West Ham as well. So they could potentially be captaincy shouts there. Also, give us a follow over on Twitter and Twitch. It's PilotFlame226 on those platforms. We will be having our deadline stream as per usual, 1 hour before the Game Week 5 deadline at 5 a.m. EDT. So make sure to tune in for that over on Twitch. And Twitter, we post our bulletins weekly on Sundays so that you can see what content is coming out on YouTube and on Twitch for the week. So make sure to check that out as well. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, take care.